Hey crafters, it's Julie Creek with Creek Bank Creations. I'm here today to teach you how to make a flower out of a book, a dictionary, or you can use newspaper. And we're using a die for this project. It's been something I've been messing with during the fall, and I thought you would like to see how I've been doing it. This is the second flower that we're making. I've already done a video on the mum flower. We're going to do this big flower. What we're doing is we're using the Tattered Florals die from Tim Holtz, and we're using 12 book pages. You can use a dictionary or a Bible or whatever. Run it through your die cut machine and cut it. You'll have 12 flowers. Now these flowers are thin. You can do the same thing with cardstock. If you use cardstock, you're probably not going to be able to run 12 layers. That's too many layers, but you'll get the same effect, just a little bit different look. I'm inking the flowers today with Distress ink from Tim Holtz. The base of our flower is going to require a 1.5 inch circle, so I'm going to set that aside. The ink we're using is Tim Holtz. We can color the paper any way that we want to color it. I'm using Tim Holtz Distress ink and an ink blending tool. I'm using Ripe Persimmon, Wild Honey, and Rusty Hinge. I'm going to hold the flower together with quick dry adhesive, and when I'm totally done, I'm going to spray the Glimmer Mist, which is pearl. It's just a shimmer shot at the end to give it color. Now we're going to work with this big flower, but I'm going to demonstrate with this small petal because it's the one I have out here. We need to color them, so we're going to take the ink blending tool. It has a Velcro head and it comes on and off, so I keep a different one of these for every color of ink, and I'm just going to take and ink my flower. And the more ink, I'm going to pounce here and pounce here. The more ink I put on, the darker it's going to get. And I want to do the front and the back of my flower, okay? This tool is a great tool to move ink without showing marks. Gives it a lot of color. And if I just want to etch the edge of something, I can use it on an edge. So this is what we're going to use to color the flower. I have already colored all of my pieces. I had 12. And I'm going to use some small pieces for the center as well. To ink those, we're going to lay them directly on the ink pad so they can pick up a good deal of ink. We want a really dark color for the center just to give it some contrast. So I'm going to push those in, and this came off of that same die. And I just kind of keep these little guys hanging around for centers, just like we're doing. And you can layer them in. So we got our color going there. I'm working on top of a craft mat. This craft mat keeps my table clean. When I'm done, I can just wipe it off and I don't have a big mess. It's also heat resistant. This is found on our website. So now I have all my pieces colored and I have my petals. Now this is the large petal. I've already inked all the petals, and each petal needs to be folded in half, and when I fold it in half, I'm going to offset it slightly, and I'm going to glue that down, and then I'm going to take and fold each of the petals that I can get into up. So just a slight little crease. Since the paper is lightweight, it folds very easily. I'm going to put glue on my 1.5 inch punch circle, and I'm going to start layering the flowers onto the circle. And I'm just going to go opposite directions, keeping the basic shape of my flower. And I'm going to put all 12 pieces on here. Now, as you can see, my flower is already starting to take shape. Now, we're going to take the little flower buds that we have here, and we're going to build a center out of those. But I could make the center with buttons, or I could use Stickles glitter glue. I could use beads if I wanted to. So lots of options that you can do with the center. And you know, sometimes we think we always have to buy something new. If you have something in your stash at home, just use what you have in your stash. So now I have my center, and I'm going to take this little piece and I'm going to put little dots of glue out on the edges of my petals. And I'm going to fold all the petals in and stand them up and kind of just mash them together. Just a real precise scrapbooking term there, mash. And then I'm going to take another one, put some glue on it, same way, and layer that on to my center. Just ever so slightly. This is a little bit different than cardstock. If I had cardstock that I was working with, I would have to really get those petals creased before I started moving them around. The book paper is pretty thin and pretty easy to work with. There's my center. I'm going to add a little bit more layer to it. Just because I want to have a little more depth. And you'll notice I'm not crimping it as tight. I'm letting it loose a little bit. And I'm going to take my other one that I have left, and I'm going to adhere it to the bottom of my flower base. A little dot of glue there. And I have my flower. So this is the second flower. I'm going to, after I let it dry totally, I hit it with the Pearl Glimmer Mist. Shake this way before you spray it. Spray and then let it totally dry. It just gives it a little shimmer. You probably really can't tell from looking at the video the shimmer that it gets, but it is a nice shimmer. So this is a flower done with Rusty Hinge, and this is the Wild Honey flower. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to do another one on the small flower, so find us on the web and get that video. Thanks. Bye.